In our next section, we're going to start talking about trigonometry and those trig ratios. And the very first one we talk about is tangent. If you had us back in PAG either last year or maybe the year before, you remember these tangent ratios because we stood outside with a clinometer and we knew the measurement of an angle and we were trying to measure something tall. So for instance, like a tree or something else. We were able to find this angle measurement and then we were able to measure from us to the base. If I know an angle measurement here and I know this distance here, I will be able to find out the height of whatever it is that I need to find, so whatever that tall shape is. So if you remember that from PEG last year, that'll help you with this section. The tangent ratio is the angle that we're looking at, so we'll talk about where we are with the perspective, is equal to the opposite side over the adjacent side. So for instance, here is my triangle, and I already did a couple of notes on this guy, so we'll kind of look here. What I want you to notice though is angle A is an uppercase A, and across from that is side A, and that's a lowercase a. So that's how they denote angle and how they denote sides. Then I have angle B, and across from that, or opposite that, is side B. And of course, we know that the right angle across from the right angle is always going to be the hypotenuse. While in tangent, you can see there's no mention of hypotenuse. So actually, I'm not going to pay attention to anything that has to do with hypotenuse right now. I'm only going to work with the two sides. I'm going to work with the opposite and the adjacent side. That's what we're going to take a look at. So from the perspective, and here's what you can see on my drawing, if I'm standing over here at letter A, so I'm at this angle measurement, and I want to know the side opposite, I'm going to look all the way across here, and I see that it's side A. And then the side that's adjacent to me or next to me here is side B. Again, we're not using hypotenuse at all when we're talking about tangent. From my perspective of A, opposite over adjacent. And that's what my ratio would be, whatever I have for letter A over whatever I have for letter B. Then it changes my perspective this time. I'm going to stand at angle B. If I'm standing at angle B, again, ignoring the hypotenuse because we're only using the side or the legs, if I look across or opposite of B, I see that I'm at side B, and adjacent to this angle B, next to me here is side A. You see how that perspective changes things. That perspective is really important. We're also taking a look in this section at some examples. So I have some examples here for tangent. So if I'm standing outside, I'm trying to measure the height of a really tall tree. I don't know the height. This again is a little right angle. I know that using my clinometer here, I can find this angle degree is 59 degrees from the tip top to the tree here. And I know that from where I'm standing to the base of the tree is 45 feet. I can set this up as a ratio and add some ratios and solve this proportion. So again, the tangent is from my perspective here of 59, that's where I'm standing, the tangent of 59 degrees, that's what that guy looks like, is opposite side over adjacent side. So you can see here that this is where I get my proportion from. The tangent of 59 is equal to the opposite over adjacent. And you can see it's just like any other proportion. I can cross multiply and solve. And this first part asks us to round to the nearest tenth.